I found out that my mother left my father for his rich best friend and lied to me that he was ABISIVE. Now, she's depressed because I am choosing my dad this time. My father served in the army, and his best friend was this rich guy I saw hanging out with my mom then. During the divorce, my mom told me that my dad was abusive and controlling and was not there emotionally. That's why she was leaving him. She told me that my dad treated her badly, called her names, and did not love her. At the time, I was only 10 years old. My mom got primary custody, and dad was stuck paying child support. I only got to see my dad only 2 weekends per month. After that, I felt some resentment towards my dad. I dreaded when it was time to see him. He had sold what used to be our house, moved back to his hometown, opened a mechanic shop, and lived in the shop. He was an alcoholic who always tried to sober up when I came to stay with him. He was miserable, lonely, and depressed. He always tried to clean up his house when I went to stay with him, even though it still smelled like alcohol, gunpowder, gasoline, and car oils. When I turned 15, I started to see him less. I refused to stay with him and made up excuses. I only visited him a few times a year. One day, I visited him without informing him, and I found him drinking while watching a football game. He was surprised to see me. He quickly started getting rid of his beer cans, cleaning his kitchen, and asking if I was hungry so that he could order pizza, and I just lashed out at him and told him that's why mom left him, because he was so miserable and could keep his poop together. He loves old classic muscle cars, and when I turned 18, he got me a 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS, which he had fixed himself. Later, my mom sold it and got a Honda Civic. Anyway, last week I came to visit my mom. I was planning to stay for the weekend. On Saturday night, I overheard my mom and my stepdad talking about what happened 12 years ago, bragging about their affair, and not once even regretting how it affected my dad. All they said was that they felt sorry for him. I couldn't help but cry. I wanted to confront her, but I couldn't bring myself. I wanted to call her names and insult her, but I didn't have the strength to do so. I was full of mixed emotions, but I felt guilty the most. All this time, I held resentment towards my dad, thinking he was the bad guy, but he was only the victim of my mom's affair. He never recovered from the affair due to his depression and anxiety issues, and all the time I thought he faked to care about me. He genuinely cared for me, and he always tried to stay strong and smile for me. I left the following day, found my dad at his mechanic shop, and hugged him. I was crying, and he was puzzled, so I kept apologizing repeatedly. I told him everything, and he calmed me down and apologized even more. And when I asked why he didn't fight my mom for custody, he told me that he knew that his depression and anxiety issues, plus his PTSD, would make him an unfit parent. He never wanted to ruin the relationship between me and my mom because he knew I loved my mom, and his ex-best friend loved me and would take care of me more than he would. He said it was not my fault and forgave me, and he was happy I found out. I want to make it up to my dad, but I don't know how. Please help. Update. I decided to listen to my dad's side. He admitted to being distant and not affectionate after his last deployment due to his PTSD, but the affair had been going on when he was on deployment. I confronted my mom a few days later, and she was initially defensive. She said that I was not grateful for what she did for me, and that she simply protected me from my father. She called him a few names. I didn't want to argue, and had chosen my next words carefully. I told her that my father was a good man who was broken by the betrayal of the two people he trusted the most, and worst, you turned his daughter against him. I appreciate and am grateful for everything, but it's time I choose the parent who puts his daughter's needs first, even if it means making hard sacrifices, not the one who wants the daughter to satisfy her needs. Goodbye, Mom. I will keep in touch. Before I left, tears had been building in her eyes, and she just remained silent. She has tried to reach out to me, but I just ignore her or ask her to stop disturbing me. I don't want to block her, but my message is loud and clear. My aunt has recently reached out to me and told me that my mom is depressed. Well, her husband can take care of her. As for my dad, most of you suggested I sell a Civic and buy the Chevy Chevelle SS back. I couldn't find the person I sold it to, but I decided to look for old, worn-out muscle cars to fix. I have been searching for a while. Almost 2 weeks ago, I was lucky to find an old, wrecked 1970 Dodge Charger. And yeah, I sold the Civic to cover the Charger cost. My dad was quite upset, but brightened up when I told him why. He's been more than happy to show me how to fix it. I bought an apartment an hour away from his mechanic shop. I do a makeover at his place. I have been making time, and I have started to renovate and do a makeover. And my friends from college who are studying interior design have decided to help. It took him a little convincing as he felt embarrassed, but he finally joined the train. Every day after college, I visit him, and on weekends, I spend time with him and talk about anything, mostly because he's interested in my life. He likes soccer and is a big fan of Arsenal, so I always keep him company during match days, pick the opponent's team to add fun, and learn a little about football. Since I sold my car, he has allowed me to use his 1977 Pontiac Firebird. He has been with it since I was 11, and as long as I can remember, he has never let anyone drive it.